frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations.
Close your eyes. I'll close mine with you. I'll do this exercise together. What I simply want you to do is keep your eyes closed, remaining closed, and fold your arms backwards without looking. Please do that right now, please. Leaders of Microsoft leaders, 32 countries represented in Puerto Rico. I asked them to do this simple exercise. I kid you not, 495 of them folded their arms backwards. It was really, but they're outside of the box. Do you see where I'm going? And so what happens is we don't like this. We don't like change. We're so stuck in comfort zones. Do me a favor. Wear a watch one day a week. Put it on the opposite wrist. Would you do that? Brush your teeth with the opposite hand one day a week. Drive to work a different way one day a week. I kid you not. Go to bed early. Get on. We get complacent. Complacent is this sleepy, steadfast contentment with the status quo. It's based on past success. We look back and say, well, we didn't used to do it that way. It was so nice back then. We were successful back then. And we live in that world of complacency. And the counterpart to complacency is what's called false urgency. False urgency is based on fear and anxiety. And so what we do, it's the opposite of this sleepy, steadfast contentment. It's this ramped up pace where we power anxiety. And so what we do, it's the opposite of this sleepy, steadfast contentment. It's this ramped up pace where we PowerPoint and meet and list and toing and froing, and we get exhausted.
Is people have to have a healthy sense of disrespect for history. You know, in other words, you know, really, guys in our company, people in our company get bored if people start talking about the way it was. You know, reminiscing about days gone by and, you know, things like that. You need to have a culture where people want to change, they want to grow, they want to do things differently. So it's an all-consuming passion for people and training. But it's also a self-selection process so that you end up with people who want to think about tomorrow and not yesterday. And it's the combination of those two things that I think makes the culture great.
Connection to the outside world. So rather than trying to invent everything ourselves, we would be both on an invention and a connection strategy, and those two things would combine together. Most organizations identified their intellectual assets as what they own inside. So they create communities of practice, and they go about sort of documenting their knowledge, what they have, and a lot of that is sort of backward looking. What you need to do is define your intellectual base, not as what you know, but it's what you know plus who you know. So it's know who you know.
Selected, thoroughly examined, and patiently tutored to help mankind discover whether living creatures can survive. Is he alive? Yes, remarkable motion pictures made in flight show Ham, bottom screen, playing the game of levers and lights just as his...
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
50 miles. Now the small craft called Curiosity will begin the work of answering some of the biggest mysteries of space. And for the scientists behind the mission, look at that. The landing was a moment of...
So long. Ow! Jeez, what was that for?
It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. Ah! You see? So what are you going to do?
Jobs, many different kinds of activities, even within the main career that I chose to be a professional economist, somebody who works on researches and tries to implement economic policy. So I can't list for you, I don't have time to list all the things that I've done wrong. I tell my students, never make the same mistake more than 4 times. That's the principle I try to live by.
You know, as long as you've tried everything you can, then if you fail, you'll sleep okay, and you'll. It's just not to take failure too seriously. I mean, it's something that happens to something like 80% of all small business people fail. You know, multi-millionaires and billionaires who've been through 2 or 3 bankrupt companies in their lives, and have learned from them and have come back the stronger.
After being cut from his high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. Was demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't fit for television. He was left devastated and depressed after being unceremoniously removed from the company he started. So he died, failed in business, had a nervous breakdown, and was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never tried anything new.